Welcome back to the GSMC Hockey Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We're here with our fifth and final segment, previewing the Oilers Stars Round 2 matchup as the first games of the third round are starting to go underway. But as I was doing that little break there, the Florida Panthers extend their lead, double it with a goal by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He had assists from Kevin Stenlund and Nick Cousins, and now it is 2-0 in New York for that game against the New York Rangers. But that's on that side, on the Eastern Conference side. Going to the Western Conference side, you have the Dallas Stars versus the Edmonton Oilers. This is a very exciting matchup here. The Dallas Stars, of course, having their veteran and young presence. Looking at this team is absolutely made to win in the playoffs. What makes that true? I've said it a few times throughout this podcast alone. Their veteran leadership mixed with their very young stars really is the catalyst for this team, is what puts them in the position to win in the playoffs. This roster is, of course, consisting of Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, the captain, and the assistant captain. Those two have been really what drives this team. The only two players with letters on this team are those two. So Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, the 34 and 32-year-old, and then you have Rupe Hintz, Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson, and Logan Stankoven are the young guys that surround them. You also have Sam Steele in that young guy mix if you want to add him. So this core of forwards is really set for April and May. Matt Duchene, Joe Pavelski are also in this forward group. Evgeny Dadonov, Mason Marchment are all in this group. All of them are very skilled, very great NHL forwards. And really, their window to win is this year, absolutely. On the back end, this is where they lack a little bit. We talk about Ryan Sutter on this team. We talk about Miro Heiskanen on this team. We talk about Esa Lindell on this team. Niels Lundqvist is on this team. Yanni Hakanpää. Now, all of these names are so hard to pronounce. So sorry, bear with me here. But for the Stars, this team has fantastic forward group. You have Miro Heiskanen, who is an absolute stud on the blue line. Ryan Sutter, who is the veteran on the blue line. And then you have Jake Ottinger as well. This team is very much made for April, made for May. This is why we see them in the Western Conference Final. On the other side, you have the Edmonton Oilers, who consist of the big bad Connor McDavid, of course. You have Leon Draisaitl, of course. Those two are the two highest scoring players in these playoffs. Both of them are nearing 2 points per game in these playoffs. It's very, very impressive what they've been able to do. Then you also have Zach Hyman, Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Dylan Holloway, Connor Brown, Sam Carrick, Warren Foegele, Adam Henry, Corey Perry, all these guys surrounding them. This forward group is just like the Dallas Stars, made to win in the playoffs. And then on the back end, you have Matthias Ekholm, you have Darnell Nurse, you have Evan Bouchard, you have Cody Ceci, you have Brett Kulak, you have Philip Broberg, you have Vincent Desharnais. You have a fantastic defensive group along with that amazing forward group. You're not getting the production you want from Darnell Nurse in these playoffs, but Evan Bouchard is more than making up for his share. And then you have Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. This is your weakness. You don't have that Jake Ottinger level of goaltender that we're seeing on the other side. This is kind of what we saw in the Hurricanes-Rangers series a little bit, what made me worried about the Hurricanes. This is why I'm a little bit worried about the Oilers in this one. We talked about the Oilers, I believe it was last week, kind of needing to win in this playoffs. This is their window. This is their time. Unfortunately, they're going up against the Dallas Stars, who I believe is also in the heart of their time, their window to win. So this series is amazing. It's one that I'm very excited to see how it plays out. in my opinion, this series absolutely goes the distance. I have my prediction written down is Stars in 7. I think the Dallas Stars just edge them out with the veteran leadership, and I think that we're going to see an absolute masterclass from Miro Heiskanen. The only player that I've ever seen be able to compete with McDavid or Draisaitl in the playoffs has been Cale Makar. And I think Miro Heiskanen has that ability. You kind of saw what he was able to do against Nathan MacKinnon on the back end, what he was able to do against Mikko Rantanen, who was very quiet throughout that series. So Miro Heiskanen is one of the premier defensemen in the league, and I believe that this is kind of his time to shine, his series to shine as well. Both of these rosters match up very well against each other. We see it in the Rangers-Panthers series, and we're seeing it again in this Stars-Oilers series. The Dallas Stars are barely favorited in this series. I believe the DraftKings Sportsbook had this series at -115 for the Stars, -105 for the Edmonton Oilers. So that is something to look out for. The Dallas Stars, of course, winning the Western Conference final, or winning the Western Conference in the regular season, earning the 1 seed. They will have home ice advantage in this series, and I believe that kind of what does Edmonton in. This series will be very difficult for the traveling team, this series will kind of be difficult for both teams, since you're going from Dallas to Edmonton at least 2 times. So that's going to be a very difficult flight, trying to work that out. So I do believe the Dallas Stars just barely have the edge in this one, but I would not be shocked, of course, if the Oilers win. That's why I have the Dallas Stars winning in 7. I think these two teams stack up very well against each other, but the Dallas Stars are just that little bit better. So that'll wrap it up for this edition of the GSMC Hockey Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I was your host, Garrison McDaniel, and thank you all for tuning in. Your support means a lot to us, guys. So if you would like to remember to like or subscribe to the show, that would mean a lot to me, mean a lot to everybody at the GSMC Sports Network. But on that note, thank you all for tuning in, and have a lovely rest of your night.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet.